Hello, students, and welcome back. Hope you all are fine. Myself, Miss Sabine, your teacher from St. Paul's High School. Today, we will be studying the second chapter of geography, that is, endogenetic movements. In the previous session, we have already learned about the slow movements. Today, we will be learning about the sudden movements. What if such sudden movements occur in the internal of the earth? These movements will cause a huge damage on the crust of the earth, that is, on the upper layer of the earth. We are already aware about such movements, that is, the earthquakes and volcanoes. So let us learn about the sudden movements and the effects of these movements on the earth. Endogenetic movements, sudden movements. Students, in the previous lecture, we have already studied about the slow movements. The interaction of matter and temperature generates forces or movements inside earth crust. The energy emanating from within the earth is the main force behind endogenetic movements. This energy is mostly generated by radioactive rotational and tidal friction and primordial heat from the origin of the earth. All the processes that moves, elevate or build up portions of the earth's crust comes under slow movements. This is what we have already studied about the slow movement in the previous session. Other than that, that is, on the contrary to the slow movements, there are certain movements which bring about abrupt changes in the crust. As you can see, these movements are called as sudden movements. Examples of such movements are earthquakes and volcanoes. Earthquakes. Earth means the ground and quake means trembling. Earthquake is the movement of the earth's crust. You have been already learned about the magnitude, that is the velocity of the earthquake, when we have discussed the snippet of the newspaper where we have discussed about the Nepal's earthquake. Now we will look at the sudden movements which are earthquakes and volcanoes in the interiors. When you stand on a railway platform near the railway track, you experience trembling if a train passes by speedily. Tremors are also felt when a heavy vehicle crosses a bridge in speed. Through these examples, you can estimate the tremors caused during earthquakes. Because of the movements occurring in the interior of the earth, tremendous tension is created in the earth crust. When the tension goes beyond limits, the energy is released in the form of waves. This results in trembling of the earth's surface, and that is earthquake occurs. Before we understand the exact earthquake, let us see the anatomy of earthquake. As you can see here, earthquake is the shaking of the ground caused by the sudden motions along faults or fractures in the earth crust. Now, the fault is a fracture in the rock that is created due to the waves or the movements formed in the earth. Epicenter is the place which is exactly near to the or the above to this focus. Focus is the place exactly from where the earthquake takes place. That is the movement, the waves which are been moving in any of the directions are from the focus. These waves are called as seismic waves. They transmit the energy released by the earthquake. Let us see what are the causes of earthquakes. Moving of the plates, colliding of plates, plates sliding one below the other, forming of fractures in rock layers due to tension in the interior of the earth, occurring of volcanic eruptions. Student, if you have noticed the causes of earthquake, these are all those movements which also occur during the slow movements. Just due to the velocity of the earthquake, these movements takes place in a rapid form, and thus earthquake occurs. If you can see here, because of the movements occurring below the earth's surface, tension is created and it keeps on accumulating. High energy is released at the place where these tensions mount up. This is the center of the earthquake and thus it is called as focus or hypocenter. Because of the movement occurring below the earth's surface, tension is created and it keeps on accumulating. High energy is released at the place where this tension mounts up. This is the center of the earthquake. It is called the focus or hypocenter. Now the energy waves scatters in all directions from this center, and the place on the earth's surface where these energy waves reach first is called as the epicenter of the earthquake. It is the nearest place on the earth's surface from the focus and it experiences the first tremor. Epicenter is a perpendicular to the focus. When the tension is released at the focus, the released energy travels in all directions. As you can see here in the figure, the energy comes towards the earth's surface in the form of waves. These waves are called as seismic waves. Most of the knowledge we have about Earth's deep interior comes from the fact that seismic waves penetrate the Earth and are recorded on the other side. Velocity in the Earth does not simply increase with depth. Velocities generally increase downwards. These waves can travel from one medium to the other medium, that is, from solid to liquid state. Let us learn more about these waves. Seismic waves. A seismic wave is an elastic wave generated by an impulse such as an earthquake or an explosion. Now seismic waves may travel either along or near the earth's surface or through the earth's interior. The seismic waves can be divided into primary, secondary and surface waves. Primary or P waves. These are the first one to reach the surface of the earth after the energy is emitted in the earth's interior. They travel at a very fast speed from the focus of the earthquake in a radial direction. Subjected to P waves, particles in the rocks moves in the direction of the waves to and fro. So as you can see here, the ground is shaking in this way. That is, the waves are traveling towards or from, that means forward and backward direction. Thus, these waves are also called as forward-backward waves. These waves can travel through all the three states, liquid, solid and gaseous. But while traveling through liquid medium, their directions get changed. It is because of the primary waves that the building on the earth's surface moves backward and forward. Secondary or S waves. An S wave or the shear wave is a seismic body wave that shakes the ground back and forth perpendicular to the direction the wave is moving. Now, the waves reach the earth's surface after the primary waves and thus they are called as secondary waves. These waves also scatter in all directions from the focus of the earthquake. Their velocity is lesser than the P waves. The particles lying in the way of these waves move up and down in the direction of energy transfer. These waves can travel only through the solid medium. They get absorbed as they enter the liquid medium. The buildings on the earth's surface moves up and down because of these waves. These are more destructive than the P waves. Surface or L waves. A surface wave is a seismic wave that is trapped near the surface of the wave. These are generated mainly after P and S waves reach the epicenter. They travel in the direction of the circumference of the earth along the crust. They are highly destructive. As you can see a seismogram mentioned here. Through this instrument, a graph showing movements of seismic waves can be generated. After studying these graphs, the magnitude of the earthquake is known. Now, with the help of modern technology, advanced seismograms have been designed. With their help, even microseismic waves can also be measured. Try this. Hang a heavy bag or pouch on the hook of a spring balance as shown. Pull the bag down and release it. Observe the spring and note its to and fro movement. This is similar to P waves. Now observe the student standing holding the ends of the rope. If one student jerks the rope up and down, observe the formation of up and down movement. These waves are like S waves. Spread rangoli on a large plate. Flick the lower side of the plate slightly with your finger and observe the powder flying up along the circumference of the dish, just like L waves. Effects of earthquake: cracks, fractures develops on the ground, causes landslides which leads to sliding of the rocks. Sometimes the groundwater changes its course. For example, wells may get water or may dry up. Some areas get uplifted while some may subside. Tsunamis are generated in oceans. Tsunamis can also be generated by earthquake as well as volcanic eruption. These waves can cause great loss of life and property in the coastal areas. In snow-covered areas, avalanches may occur. Buildings collapses and loss of life and property occurs. Transportation routes get disrupted due to earthquake and communication system collapses due to the loss of life and property. Now let us see what are volcanoes. Hot, solid, liquid and gaseous materials are thrown out from the mantle of the earth onto the surface of the earth. This process is called volcanic eruption. During this process, ash, water vapor, various types of poisonous and inflammable gases, hot molten magma, etc. are thrown out. When the molten magma comes out on the surface, it is called lava. How does volcano work? As you can see, the magma is forced onto the earth's surface. It dries and hardens. This happens many times over thousands of years. Eventually, a mountain called a volcano is formed. On the basis of the type of eruption, volcanoes can be divided into following types: central type or conical volcano, fishery type volcano. Now during the eruption, the molten magma comes out through a pipe-like vent inside the earth's surface. The lava spreads around the mouth of this when it comes out. As a result, a cone-shaped mountain starts forming and conical mountains are formed. The examples of these central type volcanoes are Mount Fujiyama in Japan and Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Fissure type of volcano. During eruption, when the magma comes out not from the single vent but from many cracks, it is called fissure type volcanic eruption. The molten material comes out when the eruption spreads on both the sides of the fissure. As a result, volcanic plateaus are formed. The Deccan Plateau of India has also been formed due to such type of volcanic eruption. Effects of volcanoes: loss of life and property. Sometimes tsunamis get generated due to volcanic eruptions occurring below ocean floors. Dust, smoke, ash, gas, water vapors, etc. remains in the atmosphere for a long time. This may create imbalance in the environment and also air pollution. It may create heavy breathing problems. It may create respiratory related diseases to the people living in the nearby villages. Land may become fertile due to volcanic ashes. Many minerals are found near the earth's surface because of lava. new lands is formed due to volcanic eruption, or at time an island may even disappear. Lakes are formed at the mouth of the craters of the dead volcanoes when rainwater accumulates in them. Andaman Island. Andaman and Nicobar Island are located to the southeast of the mainland of India. On this archipelago, lies the barren island, India's only active volcano. This volcano was dormant for a long time, but in February 2017 it started erupting. Mainly dust, smoke and mud is coming out of this eruption along with some lava. Hope you all understood about the sudden movements, that is, the internal movements that occur on the earth and its effects on the earth. We shall meet next time with a new chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe.